What's going on, my people? YouTube. I'm here to give my predictions for UFC 154. Oh yeah, by the way, I am Intergalactic Brew, in case you didn't know. But yeah, I'm here to give my predictions for UFC 154. Coming at you from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This is a card that I've really looked forward to for a long time. It's for the undisputed UFC welterweight championship of the world, and this title fight's got some very interesting storyline to it, and it'll be interesting to see how it all culminates this Saturday night in Montreal. But you know, first things first. Before we get to the main event, we got to discuss the other big fights that are going to be on the card. Besides the obvious, George St. Pierre and Carlos Condit. Give me 1 second here. Alright, here we go. Alright, so first fight I want to get to is Mark the Machine Hominick making his return back to his home state of his home country, I should say, of Canada, to take on Pablo Garza, who is a very solid opponent. Excellent jiu-jitsu, solid striking, but we all know that Mark Hominick is probably the best, or one of the best strikers, but obviously besides Jose Aldo, in the featherweight division. Now, this is a very interesting fight because we all know that Mark Hominick has been on a 3-fight losing skid, and I'm sure he would love nothing better than to end that skid in his home country, in front of his home country fans, and I'm sure he wants to do this with a knockout. So basically, how is he going to do that? Well, I would say he doesn't need to come out overly aggressive, because I know the emotion and the the reception of the crowd is gonna really be fueling him, and I know he's gonna try to feed off of that. But I still think he needs to remain focused, and I think he needs to come out with the a very intelligent strategy. I mean, if he wants to keep the fight standing, I would, love to see him get a good knockout. But Pablo Garza, a lot of people are not giving this guy, enough credit. People think that this is gonna just come out and, be a beatdown for Mark Hominick and stuff. And I do believe that Mark Hominick has the ability to knock this guy out, but you got to understand, Pablo Garza, he's solid himself. He's had some solid wins in the UFC, and like I said, he has excellent jiu-jitsu, and we really haven't seen Mark Hominick tested against a really good jiu-jitsu practitioner. So I think what Hominick needs to do in this fight, I think he needs to come out, with no emotion. I think he needs to come out and I think he needs to set things up, maybe with some leg kicks early on. Garza is a very slim, very long fighter, so those long limbs are going to be out there. He's going to have that lead leg out there, which is going to leave it vulnerable to kick. So I think Hominick needs to start off the fight with some leg kicks, and get that jab going, circle, make Garza think about it. Maybe get Garza to commit and throw a kick or so, and maybe we see Mark Hominick try to either take Garza down, or maybe trip him up and just shove him off and allow Garza to get back to his feet so that he can continue the striking. But I don't know. I'm just saying what I think. But yeah, I definitely think that that's what Hominick needs to do. And I think if he does that, if he comes out and if he sets his punches up with his leg kicks, I think he'll be able to nail Garza more often than not. And I think Garza will get desperate, and I think he'll try to shoot in for a takedown. And we all know Mark Hominick has got some excellent takedown defense. So hopefully Mark Hominick, for his sake, can stuff the takedowns and keep the fight in the center of the octagon and back Garza up and hopefully catch him. But that's pretty much what I see happening. You know, I see Garza, you know, getting desperate sometime early in the fight, or maybe early on in the fight, and try to take Hominick down, and Hominick just stuffing in his takedowns, keeping the fight standing in the center of the octagon, and just basically just popping him with jabs and combinations and kicks, and he finally ends up dropping Garza sometime, maybe early second round, drops him, and ground and pounds him, and that's pretty much the end of it, you know. So I'm picking Mark Hominick by TKO, early second round. But like I said, you know, if Garza can somehow get the takedown and keep Hominick on his back and really test, you know, how he is on his back, he could probably pull off a submission. So I am not underestimating Garza in any way, shape, or form. But I just think that you know, Hominick is, you know, he's a fairly well-rounded fighter, but I just think, you know, with him being on this 3-fight losing streak, I think he's going to want to end it in very spectacular fashion with a knockout. So that's what I could really see happening. But Garza does have a chance. He does have a chance to pull off the upset. He does. So we'll see. But I'm picking Hominick by TKO. Next fight is Nick Ring, the Promise Ring, going up against Constantino Philippou, or Costa, for all you people that don't like to say his whole name or don't know his whole name. But anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a good fight, I believe, because you've got two well-rounded fighters, two guys that are very skilled. You know, Nick Ring, he trains with Jackson's, I believe. Let me make sure. No. Okay. I thought he did. But anyway, Nick Ring is a solid fighter. You know, he's well-rounded. Got pretty decent grappling, excellent striking. We all know what Costa Philippou is about. You know, his boxing and his kickboxing has got pretty good. Got good takedown defense. So yeah, this is a nice matchup. I like this fight. I know a lot of people are not really too fond of Nick Ring because of the controversial wins that he's been getting, you know, over the past year, especially the one that probably people remember the most, or people will probably remember the most, I should say, against Ricky Fukuda, which I believe too that he did not win that fight. Now, I did not see the Court McGee fight, so I really can't judge, you know, if he really won that fight or if he didn't. But from what I hear from other people, you know, they're saying that you know, they felt like he lost that fight, but he got the win, so you know, it is what it is. But yeah, Ring is gonna have a tough task on his hands because, like I said, Costa Philippou is a strong, powerful striker. Like I said, with good takedown defense. He trains with Matt Serra and Chris Weidman. So you know he's dealt with wrestling and, you know, grappling all day long. So you know, anything that Nick Ring tries to do as far as takedowns is concerned, that won't surprise him at all. So yeah, basically what I think is going to happen in the fight is, basically I think Costa Philippou just needs to stuff the takedowns and you know, use his jab, good footwork, let his hands go, try to rattle Nick Ring early. But like I said, Nick Ring does have good technical striking himself. So being that Costa is the one-dimensional striker here, I think that Nick Ring will be looking to expose that and try to chop him down with his kickboxing. So I think we see a pretty good exchange um, on the feet. I think if Ring is the one that gets wobbled first, I think he'll be the one to initiate the takedown. Now I don't know how good Costa's wrestling is. Well, I mean, I said he had good takedown defense. I meant to say I don't know how his jiu-jitsu defense is or how he attacks off of his back. We really haven't seen him there too much, so it'll really be interesting to see how that plays out. But for the most part, I can pretty much see Philippou, looking to pick Nick Ring apart, um, standing up, and I think much like the Mark Hominick Pablo Garza fight, I think this one probably might turn out just like that. I think Nick Ring probably will get popped early in the fight, or at least I think he will. I don't know. He could end up, rocking Philippou. We don't know, but yeah, I think Nick Ring, he could possibly get wobbled first, and I think he tries to initiate the takedown for most of the fight, and I can see Philippou stuffing his takedowns instantly, and I could just see him keeping the fight standing, and eventually, he catches Nick Ring. I think Nick Ring tries to come forward, and I think Philippou catches him maybe like with a right cross, and I think it ends in a knockout. So I'm gonna pick Costa Philippou via knockout. I say middle second round. I say that. But like I said, Philippou could get exposed. Because like I said, we've never really seen him off of his back. We never really seen him, try to attack and submit people off of his back. So we'll see how that jiu-jitsu training with Matt Serra has progressed if Nick Ring does take him down. So we'll see. But I'm going with Philippou. Francis Carmont versus Tom Lawler. Now, it would really be easy for me to pick Tom Lawler here, but looking at Carmont's resume, he's actually pretty solid. He trains out of TriStar, so that's a very solid team that he trains out of. He's 19-7. That's pretty good. And he's got equal knockouts as he does submissions, so he's fairly well rounded. Tom Lawler, we know, is a wrestler. His striking, it's okay, but it's not all that good. But I don't know, man. I mean, Tom Lawler has the ability to surprise me on certain occasions. I'm trying to think back. What was that fight that I absolutely did not pick him to win, and he ended up knocking Jason McDonald? Jason McDonald, yeah. See, I did not, I did not pick him to win that fight. I thought he was going to get submitted, but he ended up knocking out Jason McDonald. So I don't know, man. It's kind of a pick 'em. You know what? Hell, I'm a risk taker. I'm gonna take a risk, man. I'm gonna go with Tom Lawler here. I think he uses his wrestling here, and I think he grounds Carmont for most of this fight. I think he tires him out, and I guess he gets a TKO somewhere, like maybe middle of the third round. So I'll go Tom Lawler third round TKO, but who knows? Tom Lawler might end up, getting beat anyway, But this is a risky pick, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pick Tom Lawler because, like I said, he does have his moments, and who knows? He might have another one here. Okay, going on to the co-main event of the evening. And this one was tough for me at first. I was back and forth on this, who I was going to pick, but I think I made up in my mind, who I'm going to pick to win this fight. You could call this a title eliminator. You could call this a #1 contender fight. Martin the Hitman Kampman versus Johnny Big Rig Hendricks. It's no secret about these two guys. Johnny Hendricks, powerful wrestler, powerful striker. On a 2-fight win streak. Had a very shocking but impressive knockout of John Fitch. I don't think anybody's really knocked out John Fitch before. I think Johnny Hendricks is the first guy to knock out John Fitch, and that absolutely blew me away, because he just timed, that left hand, just timed that jab perfectly and landed it like right on the chops. So I was like, wow, Johnny Hendricks is for real. And then he was able to outstrike Josh Koscheck for most of their fight. He stuffed some takedowns. I think he was able to take Koscheck down. I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, Johnny Hendricks, he took it to Josh Koscheck. That's the first time I've really seen that happen too. Usually Josh Koscheck is the one that really dictates where the fight goes. So Johnny Hendricks has been on a very impressive 2-fight win streak. But he's facing a buzzsaw and like an ultra tough Martin Kampman. This guy, I mean, he is really the definition of an ultimate fighter. I mean, this guy can take a tremendous beating and he could give it just as good as he can take it. But aside from all that, he's a well-rounded fighter. Excellent striking, very good grappling with his jiu-jitsu. Had some really good comeback wins. That's really what all of his victories have been. I mean, he's basically got his clock cleaned in most of his fights, but he's come back and able to clean the other person's clock when they didn't even see it coming. So yeah, this is going to be a very tough test for Johnny Hendricks. I was watching some of the countdown, and they were talking back and forth. Martin Kampman said, he wasn't afraid to stand up and strike with Hendricks. Hendricks said he could take Martin Kampman's best shots and vice versa. So we'll see. We'll really see if they live up to those statements. But you know what? For the most part, I think somebody's going to get taken down in this fight, and I think it's going to be Martin Kampman. And if Martin Kampman gets taken down in this fight, I think he'll lose. But if the fight stays standing, I think Johnny Hendricks will lose. I think if Johnny Hendricks tries to take Martin Kampman down as far as like, just driving into him, I think Martin Kampman will capitalize on that and catch him in a guillotine and submit him. But you know what? I seriously think, for the most part, I think the grappling is going to cancel itself out. And I can really see this fight standing. I can really see this fight staying stood up and them striking with each other. And I'm gonna pick Martin Kampman. I'm gonna pick him to knock Johnny Hendricks out. Martin Kampman, you can't deny somebody that has a hard chin, y'all. I don't care how powerful the other guy may be. If a guy's got a hard chin and hasn't literally been knocked unconscious off of his feet, that's hard to bet against, y'all. And I have doubted Martin Kampman like probably his last couple of fights. I mean, I doubted him against Thiago Alves. I counted him out against Jake Ellenberger. So, I mean, I just can't, he's just proved to me that he can take punishment and give it at the same time. So, I'm going to go with Martin Kampman here. I say he catches Johnny Hendricks trying to shoot in for a takedown. I say he catches him with a knee right on the chin and grounds and pounds him. And I can see Kampman getting the TKO. So I'm going to pick Martin Kampman TKO Well, I'm not going to pick around. I'm just going to say Martin Kamen TKO. All right. The main event. The one we've all been waiting for the undisputed UFC welterweight championship of the world. We have Rush George St. Pierre making his long-awaited return to the UFC to face a very dangerous, hungry, determined, natural-born killer, Carlos Condit. Now, again, we know the storyline. George St. Pierre hasn't fought in a year. Carlos Condit has been running roughshod over the welterweight division since St. Pierre's absence. He's beaten Dan Hardy, knocked him out, knocked out Dong Young Kim, outstruck Nick Diaz, which I still believe is a fairly controversial fight, at least slightly. I do believe that Nick Diaz won some of those rounds, but be that as it may, Carlos Condit is the interim champion. He's also, beaten Jake Ellenberger. He knocked out Roy McDonald in the last seconds of the third round in their fight. So Carlos Condit's been on a pretty nice streak, man. I mean, he hasn't lost. Really, tell you the truth, Carlos Condit really hasn't lost since he fought Martin Kampmann. That was the last guy that he lost to, was Kampmann. But ever since then, I mean, he's been on like a 9-10 fight win streak. I can't remember. But anyway, he's earned himself the UFC interim welterweight championship, and now he's fighting for a chance to become the undisputed welterweight champion against George St. Pierre. Now with St. Pierre, everybody's got these questions of, is he gonna be as good as he was, the last time he fought? Has the injury healed up? Is he gonna be back at 100%? The usual questions. I'm just gonna say we'll wait and see. We'll see how the first round plays out. We'll see how he moves around. We'll see how he strikes and grapples. That'll really determine how that'll determine if George St. Pierre is really back in shape and really back to himself. So I'll just do a wait and see on that. But I think what's gonna happen in this fight is I think that Carlos Condit is gonna try to finish St. Pierre. I think he's gonna try to pull a Matt Serra. I know that's a cliche, but I think Carlos Condit is going to try to knock out George St. Pierre. I don't think he's going to try to win the fight by decision. I think he's going to be super aggressive. He's going to be in St. Pierre's face. He's going to try to close the distance. He's going to try to back St. Pierre up against the cage, throw front kicks, flying knees, probably try to get St. Pierre in the clinch. St. Pierre does not need to stay flat-footed in this fight. He needs to use his footwork, move around, get that jab going, let those combinations go, use leg kicks, keep Condit guessing, get Condit to commit, and once Condit commits, I think St. Pierre takes him down, and I think he exposes Carlos Condit's wrestling. Now, I'm hoping that St. Pierre is not conservative in this fight. I hope he's a little bit more risky, and I hope that he comes out and really tries to put on a really good fight, especially knowing what's at stake if St. Pierre wins this fight. So, what I think is going to happen, again, like the Hendricks-Kampmann fight, this was a really tough fight to pick. But I think, a motivated, hungry, even though he's the undisputed welterweight champion right now, I think a motivated, hungry, determined St. Pierre in his home country of Quebec. We remember what happened the last time in the second St. Pierre Matt Serra fight. St. Pierre came out like a house of fire. He took it to Matt Serra, he was able to get Serra down, and he completely beat him up on the ground. And you know what? I'm not saying it's going to be that type of fight, but I think St. Pierre comes out with that same aggressiveness in this fight. You know, now normally, if St. Pierre was active and he was still fighting and this injury never happened, I would probably pick Carlos Condit to pull off the upset. And he still might end up beating St. Pierre. He might end up doing it anyway. You know, because you know, if Condit stuffs St. Pierre's takedowns, remember, Carlos Condit's got some great takedown defense now. If he stuffs St. Pierre's takedowns in this fight, you know, St. Pierre's going to be in trouble. Because he's going to force St. Pierre to stand up, and we know St. Pierre doesn't really like to stand up, especially with good strikers like Carlos Condit. So, you know, don't count Carlos Condit out, yo. Oh man, wow. Sorry about that, y'all. Whew. Okay. Like I was saying, getting my wits back about me. Don't count don't count Condit out. Condit poses a very deadly threat to St. Pierre, because, like I said, if Condit stuffs the takedowns and forces this fight to stay standing, St. Pierre's going to be in trouble. And we know St. Pierre does not like to stand up, especially with deadly strikers like Carlos Condit. So Condit has a great chance to win this fight. You know, I believe he can win the fight, but like I say, you know, I'm just feeling that St. Pierre's going to come out super ready, super motivated. He's going to feed off the energy and the enthusiasm of the Quebec crowd. I could hear the crowd chanting his name throughout the whole fight, and I think, you know, GSP is going to come out and may give probably one of the best fights we've ever seen from him in a long, long time. So I'm going to pick George St. Pierre, 4th round, TKO, by ground and pound. I'll say it'll be by elbows and punches from the crucifix position in the 4th round. I believe Condit will have his moments in the fight. But you know, I think St. Pierre may get rocked a couple of times. That'll be interesting to see how St. Pierre really takes punishment, because we've really never seen him take any punishment. But I think Condit will have his moments in the fight. I think he'll come close to beating St. Pierre. Like, he'll have St. Pierre like right there, you know, on the ropes, as the cliche goes. But I think St. Pierre eventually you know, rallies and gets the fight to the ground and beats Condit up from the crucifix position in the 4th round. So George St. Pierre wins the undisputed welterweight championship, I believe. But like I said, Condit's my boy too, so I don't know. You know, let me take that back. I'm not going to say I believe, but, you know, I'm just going to say George St. Pierre by TKO, 4th round, and he wins the undisputed welterweight championship. I don't know. Condit could come out and completely, like, just floor St. Pierre in the 1st round by a flying knee, or, you know, a overhand right, or a right hook or something. I don't know. You know, I don't know. You know, I might end up being wrong in this fight. Who knows? But I'm picking St. Pierre to win by 4th round TKO, and he wins the undisputed welterweight championship. So there you have it. Those are my predictions. I know this video was pretty long, but I had to get this out. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, so y'all take care, and I'm out.